this guy's life is, Zelenskyy, I mean. He became widely known in 2006 when he won the Ukrainian version of Dancing with the Stars. Later started a television show called Servant of the People, where he played a high school teacher whose rant against government corruption goes viral, propelling him to the Ukrainian presidency. And then he runs for the real Ukrainian presidency, and basically the next thing you know, he's elected to be the actual president of Ukraine on an anti-corruption agenda, despite zero political experience. And now he's about to meet with an American president who basically, it appears, tried to extort him into opening a dormant and closed investigation into the president's political rival. So what the heck does he do, and how does this all look from the Ukrainian perspective? Joining me now, Andrij Dobriansky of the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America, a non-for-profit that provides support for Ukraine's developing democracy. He just yesterday met with the new Ukrainian president. Also with me, Carol Leonnig, national reporter at the Washington Post, and MSNBC contributor. She's one of the reporters who broke the story that Trump ordered a hold on military aid days before calling Zelenskyy, which has since been confirmed by NBC News. Andrij, let me start with you because you're here for UN Week and you've just met Zelenskyy. Like, how is this, to the extent that you could divine or know, like, how is this resonating in the circle around this new president who already has a very, very full plate?
Right. The president exudes a lot of confidence. He can read a room. He's very much knows how to get people to listen to him. He can command people. And that's why he's really hoping to be in a room with Donald Trump. We think that if Donald Trump and this President Zelenskyy, who, again, you mentioned that he was very quickly into politics. As of 6 months ago, when I was there for the first round of Ukrainian elections, nobody in the entire province had even seen him electioneering there. There was no campaigning going on. It wasn't only until the second round that he was actually actively doing this. So, but again, once he gets in a room, whether it's the Ukrainian parliament that he commands instantly, or it's one-on-one, he's very, very good. And we hope that that fact get him in a room with President Trump, a former president.
To what end? To what end? To tell him to not, twist his arm to open up an investigation into the former vice president's son?
Well, that's not. I don't see Donald Trump going through old newspapers and actually saying, oh, maybe I should go at Biden and stuff. I think the real thing is about what's going to happen when another person gives him a different perspective. I think President Zelenskyy, again, is a person that can project a different kind of perspective, maybe influence President Trump to actually come visit Ukraine, which he's been promising to do for a while because Barack Obama never did it. So come on over to Ukraine, figure this out, because that's what's really missing here. Somebody needs to come over there and actually understand why it's important to fund this, $250 million or that $140 million. That's the important part.
Carol, you've done a lot of reporting on this, and one thing that I think is interesting here is the role that both Giuliani has played and/or the State Department in all of this. And there's a little question in my mind, and I wonder if you could clarify or what you know about what the role of the State Department has been, because Giuliani basically says, oh, I went over there because the State Department called me and wanted to. There's something a little strange about the official channel of U.S. foreign relations setting up meetings for the president's personal attorney. But what do we know about the role State has played?
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Chris, because I think the timeline's really interesting. I mean, everybody's really focused on the president's call with Zelenskyy, and on July 25th, when he admitted today he asked him multiple times to open this investigation to get to the bottom of corruption in their country and to look at Biden's son. That call is followed by a meeting that the president has, or the conversation he has with the State Department. His ambassador then meets with Zelenskyy and talks with him the next day, ambassador to Ukraine. And then the ambassador to the Ukraine from the United States helps arrange a meeting for Giuliani to go meet with a Zelenskyy aide in Madrid, Spain, where Giuliani has told us he was pressing and saying, look, you really need to investigate this stuff. It's important to the United States. How odd, though, for the president's personal attorney to be conducting this kind of diplomacy that is like half diplomacy and half what can you do for us about dirt on Biden?
Yeah, that is a very strange arrangement. I want to read this. So I've been talking to friends of mine who read Russian, okay, and some of whom who follow press in Ukraine, and I don't read Ukrainian or Russian. But the Daily Beast had a report that Ukraine is likely to reopen the probe of Hunter Biden's firm.
There were two weird stories. It was both by Anna in the Daily Beast.
Right.
One of them quoted a member of parliament who I've been on panels with, Anton Herashchenko, which has no power at all. And he said, we'd be glad to
This
open
is a
up
sort of speculative...
Not just speculative, but maybe, put me in charge of it.
Right.
I'll do it.
I see.
And then another follow-up with another member of the government, not really in the inner circle at all. So sometimes those headlines from the Daily Beast are just a little bit, more controversial, causing a little...
But you don't think there's been an official decision taken by Zelenskyy
I don't
to do
think
this?
anybody wants to do anything close to this. This is...
Well, it seems almost now that they're sort of trapped and they can't. I mean... You know what I mean? Like, if his whole thing is I'm a reformer and I ran against corruption,
yeah.
like being strong-armed by an American president into doing this, like in your first few weeks in office, seems like a tough thing to do.
Well, Ukraine can sit back. Ukraine's agriculture has been going through the roof since the Chinese tariffs went on American wheat. So Ukraine is, benefiting in some way from that. But I just want to point out also, there's no current ambassador from Ukraine to the United States, and there's no ambassador from the United States to Ukraine. There's just a temporary charge there for a former ambassador. So,
Carol, do you think that this stops now? I mean, that's my big question, right? Like, these two countries have bilateral relationships, but Giuliani seems like completely unperturbed. It seems like he's just going to keep going at it.
It is really interesting. And Chris, you asked, do you think this ends here? I don't think so. I think we're going to only learn more and more every day, and including tomorrow. I mean, the president said this afternoon